So I would say what brought me to freedom groups was essentially my life fell apart 5 years ago, and I didn't know what to do.
It all started with a childhood friend of mine, and she's like, April, you need to do this. And I'm like, really? Do I really need to do this? And she goes, yeah, you really need to do this.
I realized I had a problem that I couldn't fix by myself. I was actually acting out sexually. Strangers, unprotected, a lot of really poor choices.
And I looked at freedom groups as an opportunity to kind of take a journey and stretch myself.
Annette, I believe, told me that freedom groups were starting, and the one that she was starting, she thought that it would be good for me to go. And I knew that I needed something else. I knew that there was a piece missing.
I was sad and lonely, feeling the sting of rejection of a marriage and a partner that really didn't know how to love me. And so I looked for it elsewhere.
Going into the first meeting, really for me, I wasn't nervous or anything along those lines. I think what I was feeling was really not sure if I really needed to share any of my hurt and pain with anybody else. I really felt like I had shared that with my wife and with God. Me reliving the past or talking about pain from the past, is that really going to be helpful?
I was a little intimidated, a little scared. I knew I was going to be open in it, but I didn't know everybody, didn't fully trust everybody yet.
There's still a stigma that church women are supposed to be put together. We don't have problems, we give it all to Jesus, and everything is just happy. And I didn't feel comfortable sharing my dirt with church women.
It's hard for me to be vulnerable. I had had a lot of pain, and being vulnerable does not come easy for me. And honestly, I was a little bit afraid of just kind of throwing myself out there for judgment. After the first meeting, as I started listening to people and their stories, I wanted to cry through the whole thing, and I knew that that was what I needed to do. Very
early on in the group, I learned to trust them as they shared their stories and I shared mine. So it was a very safe place.
The facilitator shared her side of the story very deeply, very painful stuff. I was more comfortable to go, you know what, you're jumping in the deep end, I'll jump in the deep end with you.
It wasn't really that long into the freedom group where I connected with people. People were very transparent about their issues, and I think it helped me, be a little bit more transparent as well.
It was very difficult. They asked a lot of probing questions, very emotional questions. And as we went through it, the Holy Spirit was starting to heal. Jesus was just so gracious on dealing with my past sin, my past mistakes, that it was amazing how God was just able to just bring healing.
I went in really not knowing what to expect, and it is a lot of hard work. I'm going to tell you, it's hard work. You want to really throw the book pretty much out the door almost every single week. But if you can stick with it, the changes that it brings are just peace and healing and really freedom.
As I look back at what I really gained from the freedom groups, I think one of the things that I gained from the freedom groups was just trying to be, more transparent with people and trying to do a better job of dealing with, I had a tendency to kind of take things from the past and bury it.
So the changes that came from my freedom group, again, started very early on. There was a sense of hope and acceptance, forgiveness, and there's always hope in that recovery of knowing that there's no condemnation, that when I mess up, He's there and waiting that He loves me no matter if I'm relapsing or clean for 5 years.
I was once enslaved to brokenness and woundedness.
Bound by the inability to feel.
Bound by the past of pain and shame.
I was enslaved by my sexual addiction.
But now I'm experiencing.
And now I'm experiencing.
But now I'm experiencing freedom.